During this video, I will be spoiling just about anything that occurs within this episode of Total Drama Island's newest season. I have done my best to ensure the title and thumbnail spoil as little as possible, but for the rest of this video, I cannot make any promises for this episode I'm talking about or any prior episodes in the same season if applicable. With all that being said, you have been warned. Hey everybody, QG here. So here we are, episode 2 review slash discussion of the newest season of Total Drama, 2023. The first episode I did of these, or the first video I did of these, I scripted out the whole thing, but I quickly realized that if I do that for every single one of these, it's going to take me forever to actually release these videos. So for this episode onward, I've just got like a little checklist of things I want to cover as far as the episode goes, but otherwise I'm going pretty much off script for the rest of these. So if it feels a bit aimless or like I'm trying to fill in gaps with, likes and and that kind of thing, that's why. It's just a new style I'm trying. We'll see how it goes. So, episode 2. We open on Bowie and Emma talking in the cafeteria. It's fun. It's great. I love interactions between Bowie and Emma. They are a very fun duo to see talking with each other. Bowie is a great confidant for Emma in regards to her relationship with Chase, especially this early into the season. And by this point, I still really enjoy seeing their interactions in general. They're just fun to watch, you know? They're a fun duo that you wouldn't expect, but also it makes sense that they're a duo. It's also we see more of Bowie's strategic side coming out. He's not Heather strategic where he's like making enemies left and right, but he's smart about it. Like as far as he's concerned, Emma being a friend means the same thing as an alliance on a show like Total Drama. Because, again, Bowie has clearly watched Total Drama and knows what's what. He knows what to do. He has a good idea of what he should and should not be doing. After that, we get Millie kind of walking off on her own with her notepad. And Ripper and Damien happen to come across her. And Ripper tries messing with her, taking her notepad and teasing with her with it like a typical playground bully or whatever you want to call it. Tosses it to Damien and Damien just gives it right back because Damien's cool like that. Not a lot to infer here, I guess. Really, it's just a nice little interaction scene that happened. Ripper mentions his desire to have to be the world record longest fart holder or something like that. We also get a little moment showing that Damien is actually pretty smart, especially in the science field, it seems. He seems to be seems to know what he's talking about in regards to science, for sure. And it's not the only time we see it this episode either. So that's neat. After this, Axel is shown gathering food for her teammates, and by food I mean she kills some squirrels, presumably, and tries feeding their guts, I presume, to some of her teammates, Chase, Z, and Scary Girl. Chase doesn't really vibe with it, and he especially doesn't appreciate Axel trying to force him to eat it. But Z and Scary Girl end up trying it. Z makes a comment about how it tastes. You can taste the nuts in it or something like that because Z is hilarious. And then Scary Girl is like kind of chowing down into it. And Z and Scary Girl get a little moment that's pretty nice. From here, okay. So the challenge intercom thing just came on, and then before we actually get to the challenge section, we get a confessional with MK. And in the first episode, I can't remember if I mentioned this or not, or if I did it, you might have forgotten by now. But in the first episode, MK actually swipes a phone off of Julia. And in this episode, we see her using Julia's phone combined with the confessional camera to some extent, or for somehow. I don't know exactly how she does it. But basically, she connects the Julia's phone to MK's to the sorry. MK disconnects the confessional or messes with it to connect it to Julia's phone in an effort to download all of the confessionals onto Julia's phone. In other words, she gets to watch other people's confessional cams. Which is interesting, not just because it's not something that was presumed could be done before, but it's also just like, I'm surprised it took this long to have a character that tries to see what's going on in people's confessionals. You know, like it's surprising that this is a plot idea that came so far into the series, which I think is just really indicative of just how much creativity and opportunity Total Drama as a franchise still has to explore in the long run. So after that confessional segment, we get to the actual challenge, which is the pirate ship challenge from the trailers, the one where they're shooting cabbages at each other. Yeah, I mean, you kind of got the basic gist of how that challenge is supposed to work. Each team gets a boat, assign a team captain, shoot the cabbages at the other team to either sink their boat or eliminate all the players off their boat, that kind of thing. Like, it makes sense. And then from there, you have, like, oh, right, so the team captains, they decide the team captains pretty early on. Wayne and Raj decide they want to take on like co-captain duty, or however you want to phrase it, due to their experience as hockey players. And as you're going to find out in a little bit, that actually works to an extent. On Team Trout, however, there's a bit of deliberation between Axel and Ripper in regards to who is going to end up being team captain for that challenge. In episode 1, Axel and Ripper had a bit of squabbling here and there, and there's clearly even more of that here. Like, it's very, very quickly ramping up. And so in this moment where they're trying to decide the team captains, Axel and Ripper decide to take a vote with the team. The team votes for Axel to be the captain for the challenge. Ripper starts complaining, and then Axel just immediately leaps up and just kicks Ripper as hard, as fast as she can across the face. You can, I have it in one of the pictures on this little collage thing that you're looking at here. I'm pretty sure I have it there. And oh my goodness, I had to pause. I was laughing so hard at how sudden and unexpected that was. Yeah, that got me pretty good. But when this happens, it ends up kicking Ripper off the boat, and as a result, it ends up kicking him out of the challenge before it even starts, which is something that Axel does get blamed for, and the team at large is not too happy with. But yeah, as a result, Axel ends up taking the leadership position for that challenge. Wayne and Raj or I suppose more Wayne, maybe. But they take the leadership position of their team, of Team Frog. And then the challenge starts from there. The sharks shooting cabbages at each other, that kind of thing. Emma keeps making attempts to shoot the cabbages at Chase because she wants to cause him pain. Based on what we know about the situation so far, I think that's fair. I mean, yeah, Chase has definitely not done himself any favors, I think that's fair to say. From there, I'm trying to remember. I think Priya gets knocked off not too long after this. I think she got like hit off the boat by one of the cabbages. Oh yeah. So she gets hit off next. Her and Ripper crawl to the sand where Chris and Chef are, and Chris realizes he didn't unleash the sharks in the water yet, so he does that after seeing them get there. And then pretty shortly after that, Damien gets hit by one of the cabbages and falls into the water. He gets confronted by a shark and almost starts getting attacked by it, but then Scary Girl actually turns one of the cannons around and like shoots the shark with the cabbages and saves him. We get a funny little confessional where like she talks about how she likes hearing Damien scream, but if the shark harmed him too much, he would stop screaming forever, and she didn't like that. So it's like she likes when people are scared because, Scary Girl, duh. But she doesn't. She's still like, there's still some level of humanity there, and especially for Damien specifically, it seems, since she makes a note of his screams in particular. And then as I was talking about earlier, once Damien gets saved by Scary Girl, he makes a little comment that's very sciencey and smart sounding and that sort of thing, to further reinforce that despite Damien seemingly not wanting to be in the competition or seemingly not liking being there, it's safe to assume that he does possess skills that would make him a good competitor, even if he chooses not to be. And then, of course, he gets out of the water soon after that. But it's around this point that the Team Frog starts to realize that, hey, they're losing their teammates pretty fast from us just shooting the cabbages at the players instead of trying to sink their ship. Why don't we just try to take out all their players, and then they can't fire back at us, and then that's just a free win for us. So they start doing that. Chase goes down. I think Chase going down from Emma's hand is actually what caused them to go through with this plan. But after Chase goes out, Millie comes back up from like the bottom compartment of the ship with a bunch of cabbages and gets hit dead on after Scary Girl dodges a cabbage, and it causes Millie to get sent overboard. Axel quickly comes down and is like, okay, fine, I'll take her place. You guys keep doing what you're doing. And then she immediately gets hit overboard, so she's out. And then you have, who were the other? Who was left after that? I think Z and Scary Girl were still there. Was Chase the third to last knocked off, maybe? Yeah, I might be misremembering. I think it might have been Chase that was third to last knocked off by Emma. Regardless, however they got there, I don't remember exactly. Scary Girl and Z end up being the last two on Team Trout on the ship. And they start deliberating, okay, well, how are we gonna overcome this? How are we gonna even potentially make it back from this? Scary Girl brings up the idea of crashing their ship into the other team's ship to force a tie, seeing as both the ships would come sinking in the process. Pretty much as she introduces this idea, Scary Girl also gets hit overboard, leaving Z to fend for himself. He chooses to go through with her plan and take the ship to try to ram it into the other team. They start panicking and all that stuff. It doesn't, any cabbages they shoot at him doesn't really work. But then Z kind of covers his eyes for a second, and in that moment, a seagull lands on the wheel, which results in it turning the ship out of the way enough that it hits some rock instead of the other team's ship, causing his ship to crash and the other teams to come out unscathed, winning the challenge. So that's a win. So the first episode was a win for Team Trout, and now the second episode is a win for Team Frog. After this happens, though, Z is swimming back to land, and he gets attacked by a shark. Actually attacked by a shark, and the shark bites into his leg. He actually bites into his leg and bites it off, which would be scary if it weren't for the fact that it's completely played for laughs, because the leg he bit off was, in fact, Z's prosthetic leg. As I've already stated prior, Z is the as we've already known before, I should say. Z is the amputee character of this season that was previously confirmed to exist, and it turns out that Z happens to be that character, and this is when they reveal it in the show. They get quite a few good laughs out of it and that kind of thing. It's a fun scene. I like it, and I like how casually it's introduced. According to Z in a confessional, like later on during the Elimination Ceremony, I want to say, I think he confirms that it was like something that occurred from birth and not some freak accident where he lost his leg. It's just he was born that way, which is neat. I think it's cool that they chose to take that route instead of having him be someone who started life with all limbs and then lost one or something like that. I think it's cool that they have a character that's just lived their whole life with that kind of thing to deal with, you know. I just think that's interesting. And then from there we get to the actual elimination ceremony. Top contenders for elimination were Z, Scary Girl, Ripper, and Axel. Scary Girl was safe pretty quickly. The only reason she was even remotely put up for grabs was because she dodged out of the way of one of the cabbages, which resulted in Millie getting hit overboard. But even then, she didn't, not like she did it on purpose. She did say it was funny, but she didn't do it on purpose, so she was fine. She's safe. Z was the next character that was safe, despite being the last one on his team and technically resulting in his team's loss. It's not like he was really given the most fair situation either. He was trying to pull a 1v6 and it just didn't work. So that leaves Ripper and Axel. Ripper was on the chopping block for just being a general annoyance to the team and not helping in the challenge. However, the reason he didn't help out in the challenge, or couldn't, is the better way to put it, is because Axel hit him overboard. So that, combined with Axel's general forcefulness with her taking a leadership position and forcefulness in trying to get her team to eat the way she does and that kind of thing, she ends up getting the boot. Axel is the second boot of the season. Second elimination of the season. Ripper just barely makes it out of this elimination ceremony. As far as Axel goes, I said originally I think that I'm a little on her, but the more I watch, the more I do start to enjoy her more and see her less as a Sean, less of a Sean and more of a... She's definitely a more friendly, like, Joe / Ava type character that we were suspecting she would be, I think. Or at least I was suspecting she'd be. I didn't foresee her making it to the finals or anything like that, but I was very surprised to see that she was out as early as second episode. That definitely caught me off guard, but I think it just goes to show that a character like her... now that she's kind of went through the basic, hey, you can't order people around or tell them how to live their life the way you're wanting them to. That's not how you lead a team. That's not how you be a team player, even though you're insisting you're a team player. Which, by the way, that is very refreshing, is that Axel, time and time again, does state that she's trying to be a team player. And her actions do show that she is trying to be. It's just her way of going about it was rubbing the team the wrong way, and so she got the boot for it. But I imagine a character like Axel is almost certainly going to learn from her mistakes in this first season, and knowing that she's going to get a chance in a follow-up season makes me feel a lot less bitter about how she's treated in this season. And yeah, like, her survival stuff isn't nearly as amplified as they were in her, like, introduction, I think. So, I would have liked to see just a tad more of her, but I'm also okay with her going out when she did, as long as it means that she gets a much stronger run in Season 2. So, that was Episode 2. I enjoyed it a lot. It was very simple. The challenge is very to the point. I don't know. It was just a really good episode at just further establishing what the characters are going to be like. I think an episode this early into a total drama season needs to just mainly focus on establishing who the characters are and what they're about. That's something that I think it's something that I think some total drama seasons can sometimes struggle with, is not properly establishing their whole cast from the start or from very early on. And I think this new season has already, within 2 episodes, done a great job at establishing its cast and what they're about, and just how they interact with each other. And that's the other thing, I think, is that 2 challenges in, and we've already seen that they're so much better than previous seasons have been. And a large part of that has to do with the fact that the challenges aren't the focus anymore. They are more things that the characters have to do at this point. It's like the characters aren't reacting to what's around them. They are reacting to each other, react to what's around them. And the distinction there and the difference there is very much felt in how these episodes have been written so far with these first 2. And I very much appreciate this new approach they took with how they're doing challenges and character interactions and character dynamics and that kind of thing. It's very much appreciated. With that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching this review and discussion video. Hopefully I can get more of these parts out a lot sooner than I did this one in the first one. I hope this more off-the-cuff style is more preferred. I feel like it would be. I kind of like doing it like this more. But, yeah, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more Total Drama content like this. I plan to do way more content relating to this season and the next season as soon as I get through all these review discussion videos. And even then, I may sprinkle some of them in between these videos if I feel like it's appropriate or decide to, or if I feel like the timing is right. And yeah, make sure to share this video with your friends, share my channel with your friends so that you can get more Total Drama content like this, that you can keep the lights on, you know? So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and until the next one, peace.